Good evening. It's our Wednesday night product experience and training call. I'm Keith Hooper here in Central California. We're glad to have you with us here this evening. We have a power-packed call with my good friend Ed Lacey, going to be sharing his experience with Immunical and Lupus. As we get started with the call, as always, we want to put the caveats in that the products from Immunotech Research do not cure anything, but as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. Simply the most important food you can use is Immunical Platinum, and our other great products. We appreciate you taking the time here to be with us on this training call that is intended for the exclusive use of Immunotech distributors. It is Wednesday night. It is October the 3rd, and we are very, very honored to have our good friend out of Chowchilla, California, Ed Lacey, with us. Ed and I have been friends for many, many years, and we're glad to have him here with us to share with you his experience with Immunotech, how he got here, a little bit about Extra Sharp maybe in the beginning, Ed, if we would. But, you know, Ed comes with us a great career. He had a great career in the Air Force, retired from that after an exemplary career there, then worked for the county for a period of time, and then retired and is now a professor, actually, teaching customer communications. So here in Merced. So it's an honor to have you with us this evening, Ed.
Good evening, everybody.
Well, maybe you can give people just a little background of I don't know if we want to go all the way back that you grabbed the back of the buses in New York, but maybe we'll start off about there and maybe give everybody a little bit of the Ed Lacey journey.
Oh, how far do you want me to go back?
Well, I thought that was interesting when you were in you grew up in New York and then went into the Air Force and had a great career there. Maybe give everybody just a brief recap of that, if you don't mind, as we get started.
Yeah, I went to school in New York, joined the Air Force from there back in the year of our Lord, 1968, a long, long time ago. Spent 20-plus years in the Air Force, came out to California and raised my family here for the last 8 years of my service. Here's where I met Keith, and we decided to make California our home. I did go to school and grow up in New York, though. Traveled the world, many parts of it anyway, but spent the last 8 years of my military career right here in Merced, California. I went to work for Merced County for 15 years and retired from that. And like Keith said, now I'm working part-time adjunct professor with Merced College in the business division. We met, almost 20 years ago?
So because when we met, you were working at the county, and you were there, and we started off with this amazing elixir that we know of as Extra Sharp. So maybe we could give everybody a little snapshot of how that occurred.
Yeah, Keith had a good friend that was working with him, or that he had known, and that guy and I became friends, and he introduced me to Extra Sharp. It must have been 18 years ago. It slips my mind. But he gave me some of it. Said, here, try this. It'll give you energy. And I'm an energetic guy. I really don't need a lot of energy, but I tried it anyway. Went on about my business that night. The next day he saw me and asked me, so what do you think? And I said, think about what, man? And he said, that drink, the Extra Sharp. I said, well, it didn't really do anything for me. He said, you need to try it again. And to be honest with you, the taste was so bad, I really didn't want to try it again, but I reluctantly did. And that particular night, it was around Easter time, as I recall, and I was going to church to rehearse for an Easter play that I had been working 8 hours that whole day, and then at 6 o'clock, I was going to Easter drama practice. And he stopped me and gave me another Extra Sharp shot, and I went on about my business, and I got home about 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, Keith, and I was in the closet getting my clothes out for the next day's work. I always did that from the military, had my clothes prepared for the next day, and I must have been in there for at least 15 to 30 minutes. And my wife said, Ed, what are you doing? I said, I'm getting ready for tomorrow. She says, but you've been in the closet for like 30 minutes. What are you doing? And I tell you, I was organizing my clothes, my shoes, my shirt, made from A to Z, color to color, and I was doing it because I was energized so from the Extra Sharp and didn't even realize it. So that was my experience first time with Extra Sharp. It worked from 6 o'clock to almost 10 o'clock that night without me even realize how the impact was.
So you enjoyed Extra Sharp for a number of years.
Yeah.
And had great benefit from it, and got a lot of people understanding the value of it. But you and I were having a conversation. I think it was back maybe 2003, 2002, somewhere in there, and you were still working at the county, but you were saying you were going to retire.
Right. I was going to, at that juncture, the county was experiencing a season of layoffs. I had just gotten promoted, and when they came to my name, I had a choice of either bumping somebody from my old position and regaining it or retiring. I had enough tenure, I had age and time on my side to retire from the county, so I elected to retire because, quite honestly, I could not continue to work. Nobody knew it, but I was suffering from a disease that I found out was lupus. At that time, I really didn't know what it was. I had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was. And so instead of bumping somebody from a job that I couldn't do anyway, before I got more sick than I already was, I elected to retire, and I did. That's when you introduced me to the Immunical.
Well, because you were talking about you were even having trouble picking up the Bible, as I recall.
Right. That's my daily routine, is to read from the Word, and I would hold that large Bible in my hand, and my hand would tremble and shake, like I had no grip strength. I lived in a 2-story house at the time, and I'm 6'4", skinny as a rail, or at least I used to be. And I would take those steps. It's about 18 steps going up to the second level. I would take them 2 at a time. I would skip upstairs, and I couldn't even do that anymore. But the pain in my bottom of my feet and my joints was so intense that I really thought about moving my bedroom downstairs because the pain was so bad with lupus at that time.
So now I know you went and were diagnosed with the lupus, correct?
Right.
And got that diagnosis, and then after getting that diagnosis is when you started on the Immunical.
Right. The doctor, yeah, you're right. I went to the doctor. He said, we got your results back from your blood work up, and you have systemic lupus. Do you know what that is? I said, I really don't. I've heard of it. People die from that. He says, yeah, people die from that. And yours is severe because yours is systemic, which means it's in every system of your being, of your body. But the good news is we've got drugs to counteract it. The bad news is that the drugs, in time, is going to eat your insides up pretty good. But you got time on your side. And I remembered that. My friend Keith Hooper had told me about a product out of Montreal that could address most things. I don't even know if we talked about lupus or not. So I told him about it, and he put me on a regimen of 4 packs a day at that time. And I told the doctor I wanted to try something before I went on all of his steroids and anti-inflammatories and stuff like that. And he said, do what you want to do. And I did. I went on the Immunical for about a little over a month because he said he'll see me back in 30 days. So it was a little over 30 days. I went back, and he reevaluated me, not remembering what the discussion was. But he said, what am I seeing you for today? I said, well, I was in here last month, a month and a half ago, and I've got lupus. And you said, I said, okay, I remember. And he says, your numbers went down significantly. So I said to him, now my numbers went down. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I'm not a doctor. I don't know. He looked at me sarcastically and said, whenever the numbers go down, that's a good thing. But you still have lupus. I said, okay, but they're going down. And instead of me going on your drugs, I'd rather continue on this path that I'm on. So he says, well, if you're not going to follow my medical advice, my wife said at that time, would you like to see us back in 30 days or 60-day follow-up? He said, well, if you're not going to take my medical advice, then I don't really need to see you again. I said, okay, goodbye. And he was fired that day. But I did do a follow-up at Stanford, Keith, about 2 weeks later, continuing to take the Immunical. And when I got to Stanford, I had a female doctor this time who examined me and told me, she said, Mr. Lacey, I don't know what you're doing, but I see your chart, I see your numbers, and the guy standing before me does not look like a guy with systemic lupus. So whatever you're doing, continue to do it.
Now, this was 2002, 2003?
Yes.
Okay.
2003, I believe it was.
Okay, so now this is 2018. This is 15 years later.
Right.
You have systemic lupus, and describe that. Describe your life today, if you would.
I don't know. I heard someone say describing feeling good is hard. I can tell you what a backache feels like. I can tell you what arthritis feels like, but feeling good, I can't explain that. And I can't explain feeling good today. Keith, I am approaching 70 years old. I take nothing other than Immunical products. I mean, nothing else. I don't take a baby aspirin. I don't have diabetes. I don't have high blood pressure. I don't have anything. I am healthy as I can be. My wife does take Immunical occasionally, but not routinely like I do, and she does have a bag of medicines that she takes. I take nothing. I thank God I'm in very good health.
So as far as you still have lupus, but as far as the lupus symptoms, you have no symptoms of the lupus, correct?
When I'm bad, and when I say when I'm bad, is when I don't take the Immunical as I should.
Well, wait a minute. Let's back up. Now, let's clarify why you don't take it when you shouldn't. And that's because the kids show up and take your Immunical, right?
Yeah. They treat my house like a grocery store and a pharmacy. Whenever they show up, whatever they need, they take. Now, they're on the products not as often as I am. I take it religiously. They order it when they can, when they want to. But they know it works. So when they're here, they take mine, and sometimes they take all of it. And if I run out and I don't know anybody like Keith who has an extra box, I just kind of wait till mine comes in. If I get to that point, that's when I get symptoms in my hands, like I know it when I feel it. I can't describe it, but I know it when I feel it, and I can say, oh, I haven't taken an Immunical. And I double up, and I'm good.
And I know in the conversations we've had that it's usually within a couple, 2 or 3 days that you start to feel it. Is that correct?
I don't think I've been 3 days yet without it, but yeah, about that time I would know if I'm going to get symptoms. It's going to start in my hands, my joints, and then if I complain about my lower back, my wife will say, "Have you been taking your Immunical?" I'll go, "Dog, I haven't," and I'll just double up and take it, and I'm back to normal again.
Well, Ed, the reason the first time we had you on, because, I was in a store and a young lady was sharing with me that her husband, or not with me, she was sharing with another person the story that about her husband had passed away from lupus at 35 years of age. And I thought, we've got to get you on here and get this story out so people that have lupus know that at least the minimum they can expect is a better quality of life. They may not get the results that you've gotten, but that's certainly what we would hope for them and pray for them, that they would have the same kind of results that you've had.
Yeah, and I've shared it over the last 15 years or so with a lot of people. Some had lupus, many did not have lupus. They had different things. But unfortunately, there's a lady at my church. When I first learned about it, I told her about Immunical. She has lupus, and I said, it works. And she didn't want to hear about it because I guess so many other people had told her about things that did not work. I am probably at least 20 years older than her. She is blown up with steroids. Her hair is starting to fall out. She looks like she's older than me. If I'm 69, she must be about at least 40. But she looks a lot older, and she won't take it. It only can help those people who will help themselves. But I believe it will help anybody, though, Keith. But
Yeah,
we have to get it. We have to get it in us.
We've seen that. So, that's why we wanted to share your lupus story with everybody here tonight, because once again, we need to share this because this product is a gift. This product is a gift, and it's a gift that we need to share with people, Ed. So before I open up the lines, any final thoughts? Anything?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share my story again, because after a while you take it for granted. And I don't ever want to get there. I've been in church on Wednesday nights, and some Wednesday nights I've been teaching. And so I've not been on this call for a long, long time. And I, after being here tonight again, I kind of need to make up my mind. I need to share this gift a whole lot more than I have over the last 10 years. So thanks for the opportunity again.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Ed. So we're going to go ahead and open up the lines once again. This call is sent as Hippocrates, we get with the caveats in, as Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago, let food be thy medicine. And the products from Immunotech Research are simply the most powerful foods you can ever use. Once again, the products do not cure anything, but we all know the power of that. So let me go ahead and there we go. All right. Once again, it's our Wednesday night product experience and training call. You know, it's interesting. There was a news article that came out yesterday, and it was when it was very, very. It was not interesting. Okay, it was quite disturbing. 50% of women will either have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or a stroke. 50%. You will have one of the three. Either suffer from Parkinson's, suffer from a stroke, or suffer from Alzheimer's. And guys, before you think that's a good thing, 35% of men will either have Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or a stroke. And the reason that 50% of the women will suffer from it is because they live longer than men. That is an astounding number. That is an astounding point of those three things. 50% of the women and 35% of the time that you're here, whatever you've got on hand.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right. Okay. Well, Ed, any closing thoughts? Any additional words of wisdom?
No, it's good to be back on the call and hearing all of the familiar and new voices on the call. So, yeah, just stay plugged in. This is a great call.
Thank you, everybody. XYZtools.com to get the information there. Next week, we will be doing a program, more of an open mic scenario, because I'm going to be traveling. I'll be up in Coeur d'Alene, Sandpoint area of Idaho, and next Wednesday, so we'll be doing it a little bit different format, and we appreciate all of you. Let me just go through here just one more quick time. I had a couple people leave their voice, so we'll just take one quick time to see if any of them had any additional thoughts, comments, or questions.
I have one question. This is Tony from New York.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you all. Have a great evening.
Somebody had a question.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Keith. Have a good evening.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.